AITA for telling my estranged parents to accept that they lost their only child? My parents had my sister and I, 18F, a year apart. My sister died a few weeks ago. I was already estranged from them. My sister was severely disabled and had a number of medical problems related to her birth. She wasn't able to eat, walk, talk, or do anything for herself. For as long as I can remember, my parents were either working or dedicating all their time to her. Anytime I wasn't a perfectly behaved, perfectly independent child, I was met with anger from them. Like when I struggled to stay awake in kindergarten because some of the machines in mine and my sister's room kept me up all night. I got a stern talk about how it was a disruption they didn't need, or when my teacher started to think I was dyslexic, they accused me of faking it for attention and grounded me for several days. When I complained to my grandma about feeling unwanted and she went after them over it, I got yelled at and called a spoiled brat. I was left alone in the hospital when I got my tonsils out and when I had appendicitis and they needed to remove those too. My dad grumbled on the way home both times about how much of their time I took up. When my sister ended up in the hospital for 2 months, age 10, and my parents left me home alone, I called grandma and she stayed with me. She also called CPS a few times over the years, but nothing changed. And when my parents found out, they were angry that I got them into trouble with her. I have so much more I could say, but there's just too much I could rant about. When I was 16, I made the decision I needed to leave and I told them I was going. They rolled their eyes, but I moved in with grandma and nothing happened, so I stayed with her and still live with her today. Grandma went to my sister's funeral, but I did not. I also did not speak to my parents directly after she died. Grandma did, very briefly. After the funeral was over, and I guess once they realized they had nobody, they tried to reach out to me. I told them to accept they had lost their only child and to leave me alone because there was nothing they could do for me after 18 years. They were crying and angry and told me I was so cruel and my sister is dead and I'm trying to punish them when they're grieving the worst loss imaginable. AITA? AITA for calling my ex a deadbeat in front of his family? I, 41F, have a daughter, Sam, 14F, with my ex-husband, Brian, 44 meters. We divorced when she was 4. Brian made a real effort to be a good father for the first couple of years after our divorce. But then pretty much overnight he seemed to lose interest in her. He stopped coming to parent-teacher nights, never came to any of her sports games and stopped asking about them, refused to pay child support, which I eventually stopped asking for. I have a well-paying job. Would forget topic Sam up on days he said he would, stop asking to see her at holidays. On the rare occasions he remembered to pick her up, he would try and smooth everything over by buying her expensive gifts, and it worked for a really long time, but it started to wear off now and Sam is starting to see through it. Sam has maintained a very close relationship with her paternal grandparents. Sam is a very accomplished field hockey player and represented our country internationally recently, and it's likely that she will be on the World Championship team later this year. We returned 2 days ago, and yesterday her grandparents wanted to take her and the rest of the family to lunch to celebrate. Brain showed up 45 minutes late, didn't apologize. His parents were surprised, and told him to behave. As Sam was recounting her time and summaries of the matches to her grandparents, Brain interjected and belittled her performance because she only scored 1 goal. Sam burst into tears and ran to the bathroom. I comforted her and she asked if we could go home. I agreed and told her to wait in the car while I got our stuff. When I returned to the table, Brain was defending himself against his parents and I snapped. I told him he was a deadbeat and recounted all of the things mentioned above and that I wouldn't be surprised if Sam cuts him loose one day. Our daughter is wonderful and does not deserve to be treated like this. His parents seemed shocked as he clearly had given them the impression he's a good father. He threw a tantrum and stormed out. I apologized and left money for half the check with his parents. Since then, Brain has sent me several messages. Andy's parents texted to say they don't appreciate the scene I caused in the restaurant. I don't think I did anything wrong, but my parents agree with them. So maybe I did. AITA? AITA for being jealous of my brother with cancer. I, F18, have a brother, M26, who has terminal cancer. Ever since he got sick, my family has given me less attention, which is understandable. But now it feels like it's to the point where they don't care about me as much anymore. We have a family group chat. On my birthday, everybody asked how he was doing instead of wishing me a happy birthday. My parents watch movies with him and spend time with him and never invite me. A few days ago, I got frustrated by the fact that I am feeling so left out and ignored that I told my mom about it. I told her I was feeling like a glass child. She called me disgusting and couldn't believe that I was jealous of my brother with cancer. So, AITA? Edit for clarification, I am not jealous that my brother has cancer. To be honest, I'm not jealous at all. I simply use that word because it's the word my mom used to describe me. I spend time with my brother. We recently went on an overseas trip, just the two of us together. What I'm upset about is that my family doesn't put much of an effort to check in on me or spend time with me. I understand that he has a limited time left and that they want to continue to spend time with him before he's gone, but still, don't I deserve love too? AITA for refusing to grab whatever my wife forgets in the car? My wife can be a little forgetful in general, but she has the habit of sending me to the car to grab something that she forgets pretty much every time we go somewhere. It is usually her purse, but has been other items as well. This happens like 99% of the time. On Saturday we went out to eat and she left her purse in the car. I went and got it. When we got home, she forgot it in the car again. At this point, I flatly refuse to do it anymore and have stuck to it since then. Yesterday we went to her family for dinner, which she forgot it in the car again and I refused again. She got a bit huffy with me, but went and got it. By the end of the night, her aunt or sister were laying into me about it not being a big deal and how I should be willing to grab something she forgot. I don't disagree if it was occasionally, but am tired of doing it every time. AITA, or does she need to start remembering her stuff? ETA. To answer common questions. She is not physically disabled in any way. She does not have ADHD. She is almost never doing anything when she asks me to go. ETA 2. We are both mid-20s. ETA 3. Why do I not remind her to grab? It isn't my purse. I am not responsible for it and I don't think about it until I am asked to go get it. AITA for not buying a new graduation dress? I, 17F, bought a champagne-colored grad dress. I go to a small school, so high school grad and promare the same night, same dance event. So this is a formal prom dress. A couple from my grade just got engaged and announced they're going to get married the weekend after graduation. The problem is, the bride-to-be is planning to wear white to prom and asked that I get a new dress because mine is too bridal and would take away attention from her. I told her no, and her friends are being really mean and hostile towards me. AITA? It would be timely and costly to sell mine and buy a new dress, and I really love the one I bought. Edit. Thank you so much everyone, I'm reading all of your comments. I feel like less of a bad guy now. AITA for getting someone banned from the gym over 1 minute of workout? I, 35F, joined a gym near my house recently. I picked this one because it has a circuit area, and have only ever done circuit workouts before, so while I'm learning the ropes, I wanted something familiar. The circuit area is different from the rest of the gym. The workout is 1 minute per machine and the area is designated for people doing that workout. There are signs posted clearly, there is a timer on a screen on the wall. The rules are there for all to see. Limit. 1 minute per machine. The machines aren't different from the ones in the rest of the gym, so many of the gym goers use the circuit machines when the matching one is occupied. When no one is using the circuit area, this doesn't matter and no one tells them not to. But when someone is, they are expected to move off a machine that someone needs to complete their workout. I've had to ask people to move a few times, for some I even had to point out the rules, and people typically move without incident, until the other day. I was doing my workout and Aman was using a machine in the middle of the circuit area. I skipped over the machine he was on, hoping he would be done by the time I was done with the other 5 to 6 machines I would be using. When I was done, he wasn't, and after glancing over to see if the matching machine was free, it wasn't. I asked him if he could move for just 1 minute so I could finish up. He said no. I tried to explain that the area he was in wasn't for regular workouts, and that I just needed that one machine to complete my workout. He said no again. I pointed out the rule sign and timer, and he started yelling at me, saying he'd been a member however many years and no newbie was going to come in and tell him what heckin' and can't use, and called me some names I won't repeat. I got a staff member who told him he had to move, and eventually he did, and I used the machine for exactly 1 minute. I was quite shaken at being screamed at by a grown man in a public place. I went home and emailed the gym owner complaining about the man. They replied and said after reviewing the security footage, they have revoked his membership. My gym friends say I'm an awe for going that far with it and getting his membership revoked over 1 minute of workout. AITA for making fun of my girlfriend for writing fanfiction and claiming it's actual writing? My girlfriend, Abby, F31, and I, M33, have been together for a few months, and this Easter, I was going to introduce her to my family. We haven't moved in together yet. Abby is quite smart, she has a PhD and works in her field. I only have a BA, so you can imagine my surprise when hot and smart woman wanted to date me. Anyway, I digress. Abby's passion is writing. Although she's never allowed me to read anything she wrote. She dreams of writing a book and says she's practicing and trying to draft things. One day, I was staying over and fell asleep, and she went to her office to write. When I woke up, I peered over her shoulder when she was writing and saw names that sounded familiar. I asked her about this, and sure enough, she admitted to writing fanfiction. Apparently, she already wrote 100k fanfiction and is working on her third one. She says it's writing practice and she loves it. I told her it's cringy, and if she was serious about her book, she'd write it by now because she's pretty much already wrote 2 books, if only they weren't fanfiction. She got silent and told me to leave heroin. When I introduced her to my family, I mentioned that she has a PhD. My brother and sister got impressed and asked about it. Abby tried to tell them, but I interjected and told them to not be so impressed because she wastes her time writing silly fanfiction, so I don't know how she even got her doctorate. It was meant to be a joke, but Abby was angry. She called me an asshole. She wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the day and asked me to drive her home. I tried to come in, but she told me she wanted to be alone and write her fanfiction. I told her she was childish but left anyway. I haven't heard back from her since then, and I told my sister, and my sister agreed with Abby. I tried to call Abby, but she texted me with asshole and nothing else. My sister thinks I owe Abby an apology, but I don't think I did anything wrong, and yet Abby is annoyed. Was I really the asshole here?